Hi, so it's Jasmine Jowers again. I am looking, well, I did the reading for this week, and the page that kind of stuck out the most for me was page 14. I chose that page because it's something that I mean, it did highlight something that we're constantly trying to do in class. Well, at least I am trying to do with my kids. It starts off talking about using their funds of knowledge to help them problem solve. I'm pretty sure, most teachers try to make the content familiar to them by using real world connections, and that's kind of what this section was focusing on. And then the other part of the page was talking about supporting students' social political dispositions. I kind of took that as meaning the same thing, but kind of making it so that they understand that this information is useful and that it will carry on with you throughout your life. Even if you don't see the implications of using it now, you'll see it like later, and it'll help you in the future to, I don't know how to describe it, but just make important decisions just smarter, I guess. So that's why I like this page, because it has two real good uses for it. So it's then we're supposed to highlight an important paragraph. So the paragraph I chose was this first one, which actually starts up here. So I'm gonna read that. Consider the cell marking the intersection between equitable mathematics teaching practice 1, drawing on students' funds of knowledge, and SMP 1, making sense of the problems and persevere in solving them. To support students' development of this SMP that includes students making sense of problems by explaining to themselves the meaning of the problem and looking for entry points to its solution, as well as analyzing givens, constraints, relationships, and goals, and in continually asking themselves, does this make sense? Teachers could explicitly construct problems or adapt problem contexts connected to students' experiences or community or family practices. For example, Turner described lessons perspective teachers created that elicited the connected to students' cultural funds of knowledge across multiple components of a math lesson. In one lesson, prospective teachers designed a series of mathematics tasks about different ways to spend 25 tickets at a carnival ride on at a carnival on rides and food. Choosing how to use tickets at a local carnival was known to be an experience most of the students had engaged in, and the task was designed to support students in understanding that the number can be composed in a variety of add-ins. For this example, students made sense of the situation by considering things like their favorite rides and the fact that they did not have enough tickets to go on every ride and to eat all their favorite foods. Each student came up with different combinations of rides and food that met their own interests to try to maximize use of all tickets. The prospective teachers noted that the students engaged in this task in multiple ways, finding different entry points, and showed increased engagement in comparison to the tasks they had used previously. Research demonstrates that students benefit from instruction that draws upon their cultural and community-based knowledge. Moreover, students are more likely to persevere a problem that is of interest to them, and to make sense of a problem and identify an entry point if a task introduced in a way that includes discussion of key contextual features. So I like this paragraph because I don't know, it's just something I choose to do in my own class. And they tell you to do some stuff in school and you're like, I don't know if I'll actually be doing that, but this is something I use because I had a very low group of students this last year, with 75% of them being SPED, and part of those SPED were also ESL. I really tried to figure out things, make those word problems. I would change the word problems around if I saw them in the Eureka book, and I'm like, they don't know what that is. I would try to work them around before I gave it to them, um, so that I knew it could make sense to them. Because at one point it had questions that I knew that these kids have never, or most majority of them, would have never been exposed to. And it's like, why are you getting these? So I would change it to talk about something else. I mean, I would tell them what the original problem was referring to, but I would also make it, I'm not going to punish them for not knowing what something is. So I think that's important, and it also engages the students more if they know what you're talking about. Like, I can imagine how fun that carnival activity was for them, because if they know what a carnival is, they probably enjoy it. So that activity of being able to do a mock carnival or a mock experience on something that you haven't seen and were able to enjoy, it's probably something great for them, and very interesting. Um, we were told to find a certain sentence that kind of stands out to them. I kind of picked the two sentences that are highlighted. The first one: research demonstrates that students benefit from instruction that draws upon their cultural and community-based knowledge. Um, I mean, I didn't even think I need to know to see research to figure that out. Of course, they're going to be more interested in something that they have had experience with. It they have never seen it before. It's kind of like, what are you talking about? Why am I dealing with this? How is this relevant to me? But if they've actually had experience with it, they can feel more powerful because they can kind of go back to the schema and be like, oh, okay, I know what this is supposed to look like, or I know how this is supposed to run. So I'm gonna kind of implement what I already know about it to help me answer this problem or solve this problem. And then, moreover, students are likely to persevere in a problem that is of interest to them and to make sense of that problem and identify an entry point if a task is introduced in a way that includes discussion of key contextual features. That's kind of like what I just said. It's just they can go back into their schema and figure out, hey, I know this and this and this. I may not know the answer, but I know all these other things that can help me figure out my answer. So I'm going to use that, and as a teacher, I'm going to use that to help them, to help question them so they can try to figure it out on their own instead of, giving them the answer or telling them the way to do it. I'm going to ask them, what does that look like, or how does that work? And they can help, and they can pretty much solve it on their own after that. Maybe with a little more prompting, but Um, uh, I kind of just wanted to end this with, just, I don't know, trying to get an understanding of when this doesn't become a thing anymore to make it equitable, because I have said I feel like I'm a professional student now, being in school so long, but there's a lot of times I feel like lost in whatever we're trying to learn. And by the end of it, I'm like, did I really learn anything? Because none of this stuff makes sense to me. And it's kind of like everybody just feels because you're a furthering education student, you have an idea of what this people are talking about, and I don't. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out when it stops being a thing to really clarify what we're talking about and, make it more personal to the students, because I even remember in my high school experiences, math was kind of like one size fits all. Either you get it or you didn't get it. If you got it, you passed. If you didn't, you kept taking that class over and over again, and you couldn't go to the higher math until you were done with the class. Not to say anything bad about high school teachers or anything, but it my experience has not been that great once you leave like middle school. Even with the kids that I tutor at Sylvan, it seems like they have no idea why the information is useful, or how to, like, I don't know, make it personal to them. So like even when I'm giving the examples, they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you can actually use this then. And then I guess the problems are so abstract, or maybe they're supposed to be like critical thinking questions, that it just kind of loses the meaning and the understanding for the kids. Um, but yeah, I just kind of want to know when this equitable teaching kind of just phases out, when it's relating to real life situations, and the funds of knowledge kind of just fades away. Is it because people think that the older you get, the more you don't need it? Because I feel like I still need it. I don't know.